to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Joined at the Montana Love Stevie Spark press conference with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, talk to me about that press conference yesterday, because we didn't catch up after it.
Yeah, I turned up, I'd just flown in and I turned up, and as I turned up it was all going off between Richardson, Hitchens and Montana Love. And I've seen little snippets of interviews during the week, and obviously it's bubbling nicely, but then you've got like Alamo sitting there, and then you've got Steve Sparks sitting there going, hang on guys, we're fighting tomorrow. At one stage I was thinking about actually switching the fights, but that's a fight that's got plenty of history, plenty of beef. Could be a big fight, but Montana Love's got his hands full with Steve Sparks tomorrow, and actually Richardson Hitchens has got his hands full as well. So see if they come through, and that could be a big one for the future. But yeah, spicy beef. That's like typical IFL, spicy beef. I'm sure you probably put that out at some point. Well, it wouldn't be you, but it would be the lot in the office,
That's my headline now, spicy beef. Yeah. Just moving on from that for a second. I didn't get asking you yesterday about Dillian Whyte and Franklin next week. Talk to me a bit about that card, because there's some cracking contests on that one.
Yeah, we went back to, I think we said about, the amount of boxing going on at the moment. You break that card down, you've got Dillian Whyte against Jermaine Franklin, tremendous fight. Dillian Whyte is in a must-win fight against Franklin, who's 21-0, and who's really believes he can just land himself a big fight with the likes of Anthony Joshua and so forth. Then you've got Fabio Wardley against Nathan Gorman. That's a brilliant fight for the British heavyweight title. British heavyweight titles are always special fights. That's another 50-50 fight. Craig Richards against Richard Bolotniks. You saw have a war with Joshua Buatsi. Brilliant fight. Then you've got Sandy Ryan in a really big fight. You've got Pat McCormack making his Matchroom debut. Mark Dickinson making his Matchroom debut as well. So much action on that card. It's a really top card, November 26th in Wembley, and I'm excited.
You touched on the Sandy Ryan fight there. Obviously, you've got a debutant on this card as well, in Beatrice Ferreira, who you're very excited about. Talk to me a bit about the 6 rounds, 3-minute rounds. How did that come about?
It was a request from Beatrice and her team. They wanted to do 3-minute rounds wherever they could. Obviously, different commissions have different rules. In Ohio, you can have 3-minute rounds in the female division. So, they were very happy to do that, and then every commission they want to box in, they want to be able to do 3-minute rounds. So it's an interesting concept. She believes particularly that she's going to force a lot of stoppages over that distance and over that duration.
There's another big fight on DAZN this weekend in Floyd Mayweather, Deji. Talk to me a bit about that, and what do you think of that card?
I think it's not really boxing, is it? It's more entertainment and sort of almost like reality TV. You've got, I think, Tommy Fury's on the card. Other people that I've heard of as well. Like, it looks like madness out there in Dubai. It's live on DAZN. Great to welcome Floyd Mayweather to the platform, the TBE. It's going to do good numbers. Sunday night. I think it's really interesting. I think, as long as we can sort of distance ourselves from real life elite boxing to the YouTube world and that kind of stuff, I think it's fine. It is bringing eyes to boxing, and it also puts more pressure on us promoters to deliver good fights for boxing, because if it's going to deliver numbers, if you're not careful, before too long broadcasters will be looking at that saying, well, actually it might be cheaper to do that than it is to pay these fighters a load of money, and we're not getting the fights we want. So the pressure's on us to deliver. As long as we can sort of distance ourselves and just understand what it is, I don't see a problem.
You teased us on IFL a couple of weeks ago with a 17th of December date. Talk to me about that. What's in the works?
Yeah, unlikely. I think you get to this stage and it's, what is it now, 5 weeks away. So we're going to be running instead in January. We're very close now to releasing our January and February, probably even March schedule as well. And that's really what's going on at the moment. We won't go December 17, but we will go, obviously, Saturday night, November 26th with Dillian Whyte, Wardley Gorman. December 3rd, Chocolatito against Estrada. And then December 10, really big fight for Josh Warrington in Leeds. Ebony Bridges against Shannon O'Connell. Don't forget to watch the press conference on Sunday night. That was lively. And that'll be us done for the year.
Obviously as well, you've got the likes of Leewood there. Is he going to be out anytime soon?
Yeah, January it looks like for Leewood. We're still mopping up the Leo Santa Cruz. We've got a call with PBC this weekend to talk through that. I think it's 75-25 split, which I think is wrong, in all honesty, for Leewood, but it is what it is, and we need to determine his next fight. We'd quite like it still to be Maurizio Lara, but obviously the order come from the WBA, and we have to play that out as well.
So then what happens with Mauricio Lara then going forward?
I like the fight with Kiko Martinez. I think that's an absolute war. You know, I mean, look, also, you know, there's a huge fight between Josh Warrington and Mauricio Lara 3, which would be a massive fight. Mauricio Lara is going to be in massive fights, and I'd still like to reschedule the Leewood fight, but we have to see how the situation plays out with the WBA.
We've heard that Eubank Jr will be fighting Liam Smith. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, I don't believe it's done, but I think it's a good fight. You know, Liam Smith is a very good fighter, underrated fighter. It's a dangerous fight for both. We'll see if it gets made, and if it does, I think it's a good fight.
We've also seen some comments there at the moment, and basically what we're thinking is that is there going to be an opportunity for that fight to happen down the line in Eubank Jr and Conor Benn?
Yeah, I mean, look, if Eubank Jr starts to lose fights like the likes of Liam Smith, that obviously impacts that fight. But at the end of the day, and you know, we said yesterday, if Conor Benn receives a ban, he's going to be fighting again. I mean, whether that's, like I said, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever that is, and that will be from July. So the latest, really, I see Conor Benn being back in the ring is probably next summer, but maybe even sooner. So that's for me, and there's every opportunity, I believe, looking at the facts, that he actually gets no ban. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the hearing. But one thing I do know is he's going to be returning at some point in his life, in his career, in a big fight. And for me, that's still the Eubank Jr fight. But obviously, Eubank's not going to wait around till then. But if he loses, that does impact the fight happening.
We've also seen Lawrence Okolie uploading a photo with Jake Paul. There's been some rumours that he will sign with MVP Promotions. Any comment on that?
No, I mean, he's got one more fight with us, which we're talking about at the moment. He's been very inactive. You know, he was supposed to fight in Saudi Arabia, but didn't take that opportunity. He hasn't boxed since February. And there's ongoing discussions with us. I doubt our relationship will be extended beyond then. But, he's going to plan out. I think he seems to be based out in the Middle East at the moment. And, I think he's a very good fighter.
With some of the Jake Paul stuff, is there still that, because you've got the ongoing lawsuit with Jake Paul, will that affect your relationship with him and trying to make maybe the Amanda Serrano fight?
I don't think so. I mean, look, Amanda Serrano, we've got Erica Cruz. That fight's been ordered for the Undisputed Championship at 126. You've also got the Katie Taylor fight, which we want to make. So really, the only two fights out there for Amanda Serrano are with us. So and it's not just Jake doesn't handle the negotiations for MVP, and I don't handle a lot of the negotiations in that respect for a fight like that anyway. So, Sean Palmer, Frank Smith will handle that with Nikisa. They speak very often. I don't see it getting in the way at all.
As well as that, obviously, we've also got Estrada Chocolatito coming up. Talk to me a bit about that card.
It's a tremendous fight. I mean, you've got Julio Cesar Martinez on the card as well, but Chocolatito Estrada is like one for the ages. I was there for number 2. Number 1 was one of the best fights I've ever seen as well. The trilogy will be epic. We expect about 8,000 or 9,000 in there. It's going to be sold out. It's just going to be a great night and a great fight. And Chocolatito just seems to be getting better and better. I thought he won that second fight. It was very, very close. But, I can't wait for December 3rd. Phoenix, going to be a great atmosphere and I think a fight of the year.
Are you looking at extending your American stable? Is there more signings to come from Matchroom in that regard?
No. I mean, when we first came into the market, it was really quick, let's sign talent. But it's got to be the right talent, I mean, whenever you have your key market leaders in terms of talent as Canelo Alvarez and Anthony Joshua, you're already in a great position. But it's about developing opportunities, about developing fighters. It's about, bringing fighters through at the right pace. And we've got a lot of fighters out there now that are ready to progress to that next level. Of course, we know that the Zone subscribers are very heavily skewed in terms of Hispanic and Mexican fan base as well through Canelo Alvarez. And we have a lot of those great fighters. Julio Cesar Martinez, Mauricio Lara, Juan Francisco Estrada, obviously Chocolatito from Nicaragua. So, we have a huge stable that caters for our audience. I like the opportunity as well, as you learn more, to sit with a big budget and make fights without necessarily be tying into long-term contracts that don't deliver you value for your broadcaster. We've had a lot of long-term deals with fighters that, quite frankly, weren't, we were overpaying those fighters in terms of their commercial value. Then, before you know it, you've got to deliver 3 or 4 fights a year for that fighter. Then you're delivering fights that actually aren't appealing to people. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's nice to sit there, acquire big one-off fights, go into purse bids, deliver for your existing stable. So I think we're in a great position in America. I think we've definitely steadied the ship in terms of the madness that happened 3 years ago when we came into the market. The zone subscriber levels in the US are at an all-time high. They're in a great position, and I think we're looking forward to a big 2023.
Is there an opponent for Julio Cesar Martinez, because we know McWilliams Arroyo has pulled out?
Yeah, we expect to announce that this weekend. So we're going through. You've got Ayala, who was quite highly ranked. You've got Carmona, who's a Spanish flyweight, just beat Cordova in a good fight. Other people we're looking at as well, but Julio Cesar Martinez's opponent will be announced this weekend.
Just last one, Dalton Smith. Will he re-sign with Matchroom?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I think he's a big part of our plans, Dalton. You know, I see him as a guy that we can box. I think if you've really got global ambitions, if you really want to be a big star, there's no better place to be than Matchroom and DAZN. I think if you are domestic level and you think you can be a solid name in British boxing, obviously there's the allure of Sky, and I understand that, but I see Dalton Smith as a different kind of fighter. I don't see Dalton Smith as a guy that's going to win British titles and just win Lonsdale belts and lose at European levels. People don't have the experience to move fighters internationally into huge fights within a division like we do. And for Dalton Smith, there's a kid that could go on and win world titles, unified divisions. So in that respect, yes, of course, we want to re-sign Dalton Smith. I think he's an outstanding talent. And there's no one that can do a job for him like we can do. But I also understand if you're not small-minded, but if you just want to be a decent-sized fish in a small pond, then sometimes you think, oh, that could be, but there's another world out there. There's huge fights in America for him, huge fights in the Middle East, huge fights all around the world. And I believe he's got the ability to become a global star. And I look forward to seeing him in victory at the weekend.
Well, Eddie, thanks for your time. We'll catch up again this weekend.
Thanks, Colm.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.